morning. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Governor Sanwo-Olu urges Lagos residents to shun protests to avoid breakdown of law and order. Nigerian Association of Resident Actors mobilizes members for emergency cases amid hardship protests. On the foreign scene, funeral procession for Hamas leader draws crowds in Iran. And in sport, former Nigerian international Friday Epo urges Super Falcons to focus on 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations after Olympics exit. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has appealed to Lagos residents to shun any kind of protest that will lead to the breakdown of law and order in the state. While promising continued open door policy, Governor Sanwo-Olu urged the people to continue to embrace peace as government intensifies efforts to engage various stakeholders in dialogue on different ways to cushion the effects of the economic crisis in the country. The governor, in a statewide broadcast at the Lagos House, Ikeja, noted that the administration of President Bola Tinubu is wary of the concerns of its citizens and is tackling them with various interventions to cushion the effect on them, calling for more patience. Governor Sanwo-Olu warned protesters to regard the court injunction restricting them to 2 locations in Ganifawaimi, Freedom Park, Ojota, and Peace Park, K2.
For trying to sack an elected government in 10 days by means of protest is alien to our constitution. To the organizers of the protest, I repeat, while your intentions may be noble, do not substitute your intentions with the motives of other forces. Your gathering is all they perhaps require to perpetrate their own acts.
The governor appealed to residents to reflect on past experiences, especially the NSAS protest, which began peacefully but hijacked by hoodlums and led to destruction of some infrastructure, BRT, iconic structures across the state, properties worth billions of naira. He urged residents to be careful of fake news making the rounds on the social media to cause panic among the people.
These events, we all remember, left deep scars on our state and it hurts our psyche. We're yet to fully recover from the mindless destruction of some symbols of our rich and veritable, enviable heritage. No true Lagosian or any friend of Lagos will encourage us to go this route again. This is not who we are. This is not our way, and they are not in any form our style.
Governor Sanwo-Olu, who pledged his administration's continued support for the citizens, hinted that the return of the Unjaiku Sunday market amidst other Lagos initiatives. Justice Sylvanus Orji of the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Abuja has restricted protesters in the August 1 demonstration to the MKO Abiola Stadium in the nation's capital. Justice Orji issued the order on Wednesday while delivering a ruling in an ex parte application brought before him by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike. Wike, who said the federal government is not averse to the protest, claimed that intelligence reports indicated that some elements within the leadership of the protesters intend to capitalize on the planned protests to cause havoc and irreparable damages to public facilities, block roadways to prevent movement of persons and vehicles, and disturb public peace. In his ruling, Justice Orji, who recognized the rights of the protesters to embark on the protest, restricted them to the stadium, given the genuine fears expressed by the minister. In Ogun State, the High Court also ordered the sponsors of the End Bad Governance in Nigeria protest to limit their activities to 4 locations in the state. The court also restricted the time frame of the protest to between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. granting an application moved by the State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice Oluwashino Ogunbade. Justice Oluboyega Ogunfowora directed that all protests under the End Bad Governance in Nigeria slogan or any other slogan from August 1 to 10 must be limited in place and time. The judge prohibited the protesters from protesting anywhere in the state except at the MKO Stadium, Abeokuta, and Sarudin Comprehensive High School, Ota, Remo Divisional High School, Shagamu, and Dipo Dino Stadium, Ijebu-Ode. Justice Ogunfowora also directed the Commissioner of Police in Ogun State to enforce the order and ensure that the protests are held only in the specified locations and during the periods stated in the order. He declared that the order would last for 7 days and ordered the state to serve the application on notice within that period. Meanwhile, the Attorney General explained that the 4 locations are across the 4 divisions of the state and the 3 senatorial districts, allowing protesters in those vicinities to conveniently participate in the protest under adequate protection and without infringing on the rights of any non-protesting members of the public. Still on the protest, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has directed his men across the country to deal decisively with arsonists and troublemakers as youth stage End Bad Governance protests against hunger and economic hardship across the Federation starting today. In a statement he personally signed on the eve of the nationwide protest, Egbetokun said the organizers of the planned demonstrations failed to furnish the police with the details of the protest, including the names of intending participants, routes of rallies, among others. He said intelligence reveals that the protests are aimed at unleashing mayhem on the polity and innocent citizens, noting that the police will not fold its arms and watch a degeneration of the situation into a state of anomie. The police boss put all police formations across the country on alert to protect innocent lives and property from attack and destruction. Now to the rest of the stories. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, says members in all its branches domiciled mainly in federal and state-owned teaching hospitals, specialist hospitals and public health institutions have been alerted to the End Bad Governance protest starting nationwide from today. President of NARD, Dele Agadumo, said though the association is not joining the protest, its members are ready to offer medical treatment for protesters who may be injured. Abdullahi noted that all hands are on deck to ensure the association safeguards the lives of protesters who may sustain injuries during the protest period. The Lagos State government has set up the Human Papillomavirus Vaccine (HPV) and Supplemental Immunization Activity Technical Working Group in a bid to develop and implement a robust strategy for effective routinization of the vaccine to reduce the burden of cervical cancer and other HPV-related diseases. The State Immunization Program Coordinator for Lagos State Primary Health Care Board, Adetola Akinpelu, said the Lagos State government is set to integrate OPV, measles, yellow fever, HPV, and RI vaccines in zero-dose local government areas of the state from the 5th of October 2024. Akimele said the exercise requires human, materials and financial resources to reach the target population, noting that Lagos State intends to sustain HPV routinization through intensified stakeholders' engagement. On her part, the Director, Health, Education and Promotion, Lagos State Primary Health Care Board, Adeshola Honfo, said plans are underway for community re-engagement to address misconceptions in order to capture eligible girls for vaccination. According to Honfo, from next year, January, only 9-year-old girls will be vaccinated, hence the need for the sensitization to capture those that are over 9 years old in the next round of the vaccination. It's a record that the Lagos State government, in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, introduced the HPV vaccine using a phased approach in October 2023. The HPV vaccination is targeted at young girls between 9 and 14 years, RI for children between 0 to 23 months, measles for 9 to 59-month-old children, while OPV is from 0 to 59 months and yellow fever from 9 months to 44 years. Now to foreign news. Thousands have turned out in Iran for the funeral procession of the Hamas political chief, Ismail Haniyeh, who was killed in a strike in Tehran on Wednesday. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, is leading the prayers before the Hamas leader is buried in Qatar. Reports have quoted Iranian officials as saying the supreme leader has ordered a direct attack against Israel, which it says was responsible for the attack on Iranian soil. Israel has not commented on the assassination directly, but Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said his country had delivered crushing blows to its enemies in recent days, including the killing of a senior Hezbollah commander in Lebanon hours before the Tehran strike. He warned Israelis that challenging days lie ahead as fears of a wider conflict in the Middle East grow. In our sport, former Nigerian international Friday Ekpo has urged the Super Falcons to focus on the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON after the team's exit from the Paris Olympic women's football event. Reacting after Nigeria's exit, Ekpo stated that after the Olympic, the team needs better preparation and introduction of young players in the Super Falcons. He noted that the players must come home with their heads held high and all stakeholders must focus on helping them have a better showing at the 2025 WAFCON. It will be recalled that Nigeria lost the final Group C game against Japan on Wednesday to finish the tournament without a win. The team had first lost to Brazil and Spain. But that ends our news at 10. Just before we go, maintain adequate distance from the vehicle ahead of you to avoid collision. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch our news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated 500 hectares rice farm technology intervention project? Can get more details on the Lagos State government website. To end the news are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has appealed to Lagos residents to shun any kind of protest that will lead to the breakdown of law and order in the state. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, said members in all its branches, domiciled mainly in federal and state-owned teaching hospitals, specialist hospitals, and public health institutions, have been alerted to the End Bad Governance protest starting nationwide from today. We also told you that thousands have turned out in Iran for the funeral procession of the Hamas political chief, Ismail Haniyeh, who was killed in a strike in Tehran on Wednesday. And in sport, Nigerian international Friday Ekpo has urged the Super Falcons to focus on the 2025 Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON after the team's exit from the Paris Olympic women's football event. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adewale Oluboroku. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.